Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be doing the basics of CFS N4 and opening up a company, as well as doing the additional parameter setup and also putting in your credentials into the system. So for the purposes of this video and the next few videos, I'm going to use the November 2022 Computerized Financial Systems N4 question paper, and we're going to be working with this question paper. So the first thing that we need to do when we have the question paper and we're working with the question paper is we need to see the name of the company that we need to open up. The name of the company is Shoes, and this company's financial year runs from the 1st of March 2021 to the 28th of February 2022. So before we do anything else, let's go to our accounting program and let us open up this company. Now, if your company is not here but it's on the system and you are required to add the company, you simply click on Add Company, then you click on Add Company again, and because we are working with Shoes, click on Shoes and click on OK. Thereafter, you can close that screen, click on Shoes, and open on a previous version of Pastel. It will give you the screen. You can simply say no and then yes, and then you can put in your password and the company will. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is click on Setup, Company Parameters. You'll be required to put in your password again, and then in this block that says Name, where it says Educational Number, you click on the block and you're going to press Ctrl, Shift, and T at one and the very same time. And here you can put in your examination number. And then you click on OK, and you click on OK again. Now that that's done, let's go back to our question paper and see what else is required of us. So we will be able to see that we have our entry types, we have our general ledger accounts, and because we can start to see balances here, we know that we're going to have to put in opening balances of the general ledger accounts in the general journal. Then we go to our supplier schedule, we can see some balances there, we can see our customer schedule, and we can see some balances there. Below that, we can see we have our stock items. All of these items are our stock items from year to year. Then we have our early payment terms, and then we have our additional parameter setup here. The first thing that I generally advise candidates to do is to, before doing your opening balances, is to do your additional parameter setup. The reason for this is if you happen to not do your opening balances and you skip that part and move straight onto your supplier's invoices, you know that your additional parameter setup is already done. So let us go straight to additional parameter setup. The details on the setup, customers, document screen, and the supplier document screen are incomplete. These details must be completed using the information below. Rename the return debit note document to debit note. Link the debit note with the correct entry type. The input of debit notes must start with DEB001. Change the message of customer invoices to the following message. Look out for the fantastic end of season specials. Then we need to create a service item, and we have all the details here. And then we need to create a following general ledger expense account with the details there. So let us go and let us start with the additional parameter setup with your documents first. We can see that the first thing that we need to do is our supplier documents because it is a debit note. Click on Setup, Suppliers, and then Documents. Then at the top here on our tabs, for CFS N4, the only two tabs we work with is the Supplier Invoice tab and the Debit Note tab. So if I click on the Supplier Invoice tab just to show you, this would be your original name, this would be your next number, and this is your entry type, 07 Suppliers Journal. If you are ever required to link the entry type, link it to Suppliers Journal. Please always ensure that your invoice line's default says item code on it. Since there's no setup for our supplier invoice, let's move to return and debit. The first thing that was required for us was to change the original name to debit note. Let's just make sure of that. rename the return debit note document to debit note. So click into original name, remove what's there, and let's change it to debit note. I'm putting it in caps so that it's clear for you to see. Right, your entry type here is supplier allowances. Your next number for debit note will be DEB001, and that is all for suppliers. So then we simply click on OK. Now moving on to customers, we click on Setup, Customers, Documents, and here we are only working with the Invoice tab as well as the Credit Note tab. So if we have anything to do with the customers' tax invoices, we can use this screen, or for the customers' credit notes, we can use this screen. Now let me show you your linking of your entry types. For your customers' tax invoice, it's your customers' journal. For your credit note, it is for your customers' allowances. Now, the next thing we need to do here is, let's look at what was required for us to do. Change the message of customer invoices to the following message. Look out for fantastic end of season specials. So we come down to the message block. We must make sure that we click on the invoice tab, click in the message block, and let us start to type our message. Look out for the fantastic I'm pressing enter to go on to the next line, because generally you'll find that at some times it might not continue typing, so you just press enter to go to the next line. Let us make sure that that's correct. And then let's just put an exclamation mark at the end, and then we know we are done with our additional parameter setup for suppliers and customers. The next item that we need to do is we need to add the following inventory service item. Now, before we add the inventory service item, please note that this is a service item, which means there will be no cost price and selling price. We will only be required to put in the selling price. Please do not confuse this with a stock item that we are adding. So let us go. We're going to say edit, inventory, item file. Before we do anything, we have to click on add. I repeat, we have to click on add until everything goes blank. Don't simply start editing something that's on the screen. Click on add. Now, the first thing is the code, DELCUST. Type it in, DELCUST, and then press enter. Now we go to our description. What is our description? Delivery to client. So we'll type that in, delivery to client. Thereafter, we need to look. Our category is none, our inventory group is services, and our discount type is none. So inventory group, this is where you change it to services. Discount type needs to be none. Our unit is P/km, which is per kilometer. And then we need to tick show quantity and unit and untick sales commission item. So let us do that. So unit is P/km. Tick show quantity and unit, that's already ticked, and then untick sales commission item. Now we need to tick service item. Our tax, I'll show you now. So we click on service item. Our tax is allowed already. It should be allowed by default. You can leave your cost price blank as it is a service item. Click on the prices tab, and then here, price list 1 exclusive. In this first block, you click in there and you put in your selling price. And your selling price for this item is 3,85, 3 rands and 85 cents. Type it in, 3,85. Then, once we are done with that, all we need to do is click on this little save icon, and everything will go blank, knowing that we are done. Then we can simply close that screen. Let's look at the next item that we need to do. Create the following general ledger expense account. Click on edit, general ledger, and accounts. Now, it tells us to create the following account. So all we're going to do is click on add. What is the code? The code is 4700. Type in 4700 and press enter. And by default, your sub account number will be 000. Then we can put in our account description, courier and handling expenses on purchase. So we need to type that in. Courier and handling expenses on purchase. It seems as though that this does not fit, so I will just leave it as courier and handling expenses. The next thing we need to do is we need to check our income statement financial category is expenses and our report writer is expenses. So income statement needs to be expenses and our report writer needs to be expenses. This is your income statement financial category, and then this is your report writer category. There you can click on save. All right, I'm going to end this video here, and on the next video we're going to do the opening balances, and we will